Hi, and welcome to an orientation to Excel Basics through video. Because of our crazy weather, we didn't get to go to school today, so a few of you need to get started, and this might be the fastest way to get you rolling. Following this video, I will first of all send you the files that you need to get started with Module 1. All right, so we're looking at our homepage for Excel Basics. We're inside of Canvas, which to get to Canvas, I'm sure you know, but you log into My Western and then you click on the Canvas button. Okay, in here, normally you will check on the modules and the grades, and that's really about the two places you'll go the most. Today, to get started, we're going to click on the syllabus and we're going to talk about the syllabus. I'm going to go ahead and load that syllabus and open it. Talk our way through this. All right, so first thing of importance are my office hours. Monday from 1:30 to 3:30, Tuesday from 10 to noon, and Wednesday from 11 to noon. Now, I have a lot more availability than that, and I should say by appointment, also by appointment. I have a lot of availability. I teach online and flexible courses and one on-campus course, so you can always find time to see me almost every day. As far as response time, I am very good at replying to emails. If you do not hear from me by the next day, please gently remind me that you're waiting for my reply. Next is the method of instruction for the course. Because it's in a flexible format, what that means is you will get assignments delivered to you through Canvas. You will work through a book that is a guide, and I will give you lots of extra information about the homework that you're doing, and I will give you lots more instruction. So you'll have to pay attention to my instruction sheets as you get going through the chapters. The other reason that we can even offer a flexible format type class is because of the BIS lab on the main campus. That lab is staffed with 3 to 4 lab assistants. During the day, there's usually 3, and in the evening, there's 1 or 2. And those staff members are able to help you with your assignments and help you continue moving along so that you don't always have to wait for just me to answer your questions and provide you help. The lab is open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 8, and Friday from 8 to 5. I'll talk about that more here in a second. I do have you turn in your printed work and upload your files that you complete. We do both. It is so much simpler for me to grade your paper papers, and it's a great time to check in with me or a lab assistant by stopping by the lab and dropping off your work. Also, you will find your feedback for your work on the papers that you handed in once they're graded, and that will help you make corrections on those. This course is not built for transfer. It is intended to provide entry-level training. It is built into some programs though. Exercise science has it built in. I think there's a business track that has it built in. And the institution that you end up transferring to gets to deal with this course however they choose. So that is a reason for you to keep a hold of the syllabus, or at least download this file so that you can provide it to a registrar at a transferring institution. There are no prerequisites for this course. However, I hope you can type. You're going to be doing a lot of that. Next is the course description, which you probably took a look at before you signed up for the class, but we will focus on creating spreadsheets that are easy to read and accurate. The textbook information is here, and if you purchase the textbook at the bookstore, you'll find that it is a unbound book. There's holes punched in it to be put in a binder, And if you would like to request a binder from me, I have lots of them, and I'm happy to provide you with one. Here's our information about the Business Information Systems Lab under Other Resources. So the BIS Lab is on the faculty row on main campus. If you have not been there, please stop by. Instructional assistants are there during our open hours, and here are the hours: Monday through Thursday 8 to 8 and Friday from 8 to 5. We are closed on the days that there are holidays like Martin Luther King Day, like upcoming President's Day, like spring break. So if there are days that students are not required to be on campus, and students and staff are not required to be on campus, the lab is also closed. All right, taking a look at our college-wide goals for student success and how they fit into the goals for this class. In looking just in the left-hand column, one of our first goals, and I've already said it a couple of times, is you will learn to produce accurate spreadsheets. You guys will correct spreadsheets that are not right and turn them in again until you get them right, and you will get full credit on them. The second goal is that you will use formulas and functions to calculate and analyze data. A third goal is that you will utilize charting methods and other visualization tools so that we're not only always looking at numbers, we are sometimes looking at charts and other visualizations. The fourth goal is we are going to understand the terminology associated with spreadsheets. And the last goal is that you will learn how to create an Excel spreadsheet from scratch. All right, my late work policy is 4 modules 1 through 4. I accept late work for 1 extra week after the posted due date. So for example, your first due date is this Friday, the 25th of January, and the last date you can turn in chapter 1 is February 1st, the following Friday. Okay, at that point, getting all of your modules submitted by the date or the one week grace period allows you to make corrections and turn in any corrections for those modules by March 1st, and then after that no more corrections can be submitted. We'll look at a complete schedule here in a moment. Alright, so yes, there's an attendance policy for a flexible course. The reason this is in here is just to let you know how much total time you should plan to spend on this class, and the answer is about 30. For the first 5 weeks, I do expect that you would spend probably 4 hours a week on the class, completing the lessons, making corrections, and moving forward. The last 3 weeks of the class are not quite so intense. You have some your week of corrections, you have a reflection paper, and then you have your final assessments. So those don't take nearly as long as your homework does these first 5 weeks. I do not offer extra credit in the class because you have the ability to redo your homework. If I need to make a change to the syllabus, I will inform you by your college email, and I will post the information on our homepage of our website. All right, so how we're graded. This is what I always wanted to know when I was in a college class. What counts here? So you can see by the chart here that your modules, there are 4, are each worth 50 points. Also note that those are the ones that can be resubmitted, so you just have to fix what's wrong, turn it in again, I'll regrade it, and I'll change your grade. So you have 4 of those, 200 points there. You have a quiz after every module. It is an open book on the computer quiz. You cannot retake it, so your only caution is to be ready when you take it, have your book ready when you take it, and once you start, stop. Once you start, finish. Sorry about that. All right, and then after your modules, you'll do a reflection paper I mentioned. You'll do a project and an application. The directions for those will be provided later on in our time together. They're not posted yet. So you can see you have a 500-point class what you earn divided by 500 will be your grade. A note, let's see, a note back up here. So when you submit your homework, after I have checked it, if you need to make corrections, I put 1 point in the gradebook. Okay? Now, that is just to tell you that your work is graded and you need to pick it up and make corrections. So then if you make corrections and you see after a few days that your grade has turned into a 2, that means you still have corrections to make. Sometimes that happens. Most of the time though, you finish your corrections and it's all good and you will have 50 points in the gradebook. All right, so don't panic if you see a 1 point in the gradebook. It doesn't mean anything except your homework is graded and ready to be picked up. Correct it as soon as you can and turn it back in. All right, so our grading scale is 89.5 is an A, and the rounding example is shown here. All right. These are the names of our 4 units. You do need a USB drive. I have those available for you. I need to make sure I know which pen drive I've given you so I can make a note of that in my gradebook. And stop by or ask me to leave the pen drive with someone in the lab so that you can pick it up. All right, this is the details on submitting your work for grading and picking it up after it's graded. You can check that out. All right, I do want to mention that the textbook is written for Microsoft Office 2016 on the Windows 10 platform. If you have Microsoft Office 16 on a Windows 7 platform, that should be fine. Windows 7, 8, or 10 should be fine. If you have Microsoft Office and you are running a Mac computer, I have had a few students complete the course using a Mac. However, the pictures in the book and the diagrams and the instructions you have in the book assume you're using a PC. So do remember that the lab is open for several hours every week, all the weekdays, and it's a great place to do your homework. Also, the benefit of working in the lab is you can just raise your hand and get some help. You don't have to be stuck for very long like you would be if you were working, say, at your room or at home. If you have more questions about using a Mac in this class, please let me know and I'll give you the best advice I can. Oh, but by the way, Microsoft Office is free for you as a student. And if you have not installed that on your own computer, the way you do that is back to our My Western login. And here's the Office 365 link. Let me click on that. That takes us into our connection with Microsoft Office in our portal. And I want to make kind of a big deal about this. These apps that are showing here are online, lightweight apps. Very usable for you, just like using Google Docs or Google Sheets. And what you do there would be stored in your college cloud storage, which mine is showing right here. Okay, so down below, that's my cloud storage. So you can also create documents using these lightweight tools, and they will be stored here in the cloud. If you're installing on your computer, which is what you need to do for this class, you would come over to this button called Install Office, click on that, choose the top option, and that will take you into a downloadable file so that you can install Microsoft Office on your computer. It will be connected to your college account. When you are no longer a student, you will be unable to utilize the software. The files that you have created will still be there. You will not be able to edit, and I don't think you can print once your license agreement is over with. with the college. However, at that point, Microsoft is going to connect with you and say, hey, I see that your software has expired. Would you like to purchase it? Of course, that's never mandatory, and your files are accessible through other means like I think Google Docs can open those files, and I can't think of the name of the other free software, but I know there's software out there that will open your Microsoft files once the class is over. All right, so that's how you install the software on your own computer, so you do not have to buy that. And then a few more things here. Let's talk about personal technology. While you're working in the computer lab, please do have your phones and tablets and whatnot handy, but do make them silent. Just know that people working in the lab could possibly be taking a timed test, or everyone who works in the lab is doing usually something different. So do be aware that you need to keep it kind of like library quiet when you're in the lab. Also, we have some rules in the computer lab: no food or drinks, no pets, no kids. Pretty easy things to follow. Do bring your water bottles in, make sure they have a lid on them. All right, here is our work schedule, and you can see we have 8 weeks to complete the class. You can see that Module 1 is due this Friday or next week. As long as you have it in by next Friday, you should be good. And when we finish week 5, we're going to finish about the 15th of February. Our due dates are always on Friday. I hope that works out for you. And then the very last due date is on Thursday, March 7th, in hopes that I can get your grading finished and posted before spring break. That's the plan. Okay, then this last page is a information sheet. I use this sheet in my gradebook. So if you are following this orientation because you're not meeting me in person, I do need you to print this and bring it to me. I just need your name, phone number, and email, and the date that you listened to this orientation. And I also need you to send me a photo of you so I can tape it on here, so I can start to get to know which students are which. And I have a lot of Excel students, so I would appreciate that very much. Okay, so this is just a tracking sheet that I use. Some of my students prefer to have one themselves. They can make their own notes. They can make a note of the date they turned it in, maybe even who they gave it to. All right. Let's see. I think that is about it as far as what I need to tell you to get started for your orientation. Now, next is try to find a time to meet with me in person, just to say hello and that you've watched this orientation video. And also I need to give you the USB drive that has all of the files for the class on it. And if you didn't send me a picture, I will snap a picture. All right, have a good day.